Today's episode of the NY Yankee Dad podcast is brought to you by your Bronx dentist. Come and meet Dr. Rebbe and his team at two convenient locations in the Throgs Neck and Norwood sections of the Bronx. Schedule your next appointment online at yourbronxdentist.com. Yo, what's up, everybody? Episode 13 of the NY Yankee Dad podcast. It's Tuesday, March 18th, about 9:25 p.m. coming at you from my dining room here. And no video. I haven't really feel a little under the weather the past few days, but a lot to talk about. So I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about what's going on here with about 9 days. Yeah, 9 days left till opening day. Baseball officially started this morning, bright and early, 6 a.m. Our time. It was on TV. You saw the Dodgers play the Chicago Cubs, and Shota Imanaga versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto from the Tokyo Dome. And same thing tomorrow. But we all know Yankees baseball starting up on Thursday, March 27th. We're almost there. So almost there. There's about, realistically, even with the injuries, a few, probably about three or four roster spots that are to be had for the Yankees right now. And, just some, a few updates along the way, as you might have heard by now. It's Clark Schmidt was scratched on Sunday from his start. And, he threw a bullpen yesterday, about 24, 25 pitches or so. And they wanted to see how he felt today. So they said today he felt good. And, the original report, it was from all the different beat writers. I was reading the one from Brian Hoke, and it was saying how well, they're going to see how he recovers, and he could pitch as early as in the game tomorrow. But we found out later on, during the bowl game, towards the end of today's bowl game, we found out he'll be throwing a bullpen on Thursday. So, not to be too concerned about Clark Schmidt yet, but it's definitely a little concerning, with all the injuries that are going on. But there's a few positives from those injuries. So besides Clark Schmidt's um, shoulder, the right shoulder fatigue that he's dealing with right now. They're still targeting that April 3rd game against the Diamondbacks. Could Clark start the season on the IL? I guess we'll find out, within about a week or so. But it could be a strategic move too, kind of put him on the IL. If he's how stretched out is he really going to be? He's only thrown one inning so far in spring, and it I think it was like a 30 something or so pitch inning. But besides the point, it was only one appearance he's had, other than the sim games, the live BPs in the bullpen. So realistically, by that date, he's not even going to be above 50, 60 pitches on the way he's doing, the way his schedule is going now. So what's it going to be with Clark Schmidt? I mean, even Booney was saying that they'll have more. There'll be more to know by Thursday after that second bullpen session. But some of the good news on the pitching front is Ian Hamilton threw a bullpen yesterday, and so he's working his way back from the infection that that he came into camp with. And Jake Cousins increased his throwing to 90 feet, so he's starting to throw. It's little positive things. Mark Leiter Jr. was dealing with a barking back, but they're saying with Ian Hamilton and Mark Leiter, as of right now, it shouldn't hamper them from being ready for opening day. So that leaves one or two other bullpen spots. Now Yoendris Gomez might be getting one of those. He's one of those players having a nice spring. The Yankee farmhand that we've heard about for a little bit of time. Last year, the year before, Yogo, and now he's going to get his shot. It's been limited. We've seen him in a limited capacity, but this spring he's been doing pretty good, showing some good stuff, and importantly of all this, he has no more options. So that's a big reason why they don't want to lose, a talent like Yoendris Gomez. And could he be, like a long man back, long man, not mop up role, but like a long man, multiple inning role? That could be the plan with, especially with, he's a former starting pitcher, but he's not stretched out to be a starter. But, especially with everything going on here with the Clark Schmidt shoulder fatigue, and we could be seeing Carlos Cookie Carrasco, Will Warren, and they didn't trade Stroman. He lines up as the number three starter now at Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, most likely Stroman, Carlos Carrasco, Will Warren. Could we see guys like Alan Winans? It's gonna be interesting to see how it shapes out. Now, Will Warren, we saw him last year. Now, it's really really hard to base the performance off last year. In my opinion, there was that start in Philly that when he actually made his major league debut, um, he did get called up. He was on the taxi squad, and he wasn't. It was actually a Garrett Cole scratch start, believe it or not, in Philadelphia, and he had about an hour. It was about an hour, less than 2 hours before game time. They announced Will Warren was going to make the start. Just so happened to be his major league debut, and he got roughed up. And even the next time we saw him come, make his appearances, it wasn't a great year last year at the big league level for Will Warren. But we're seeing what he's doing now in spring training. We always said, take it with a grain of salt, the spring training performances, but there's certain things that you can pick out, and you can see that the pitch shaping and his, just the way he's going about, getting batters out and attacking the strike zone, and he's throwing, the sweeper and change ups. A lot of these guys are throwing really nice change ups. Max Fried's another one, but you can just see the different approach that Will Warren is taken, from this year and last year. And there was all the information that came out that he kind of reinvented himself with pitching coach Matt Blake. And you know what? As I'm one to say it is only spring training, but it is kind of showing, that he did sort of kind of reinvent himself here. So could Will Warren get a shot? Now, Carlos Cookie Carrasco, definitely a seasoned veteran. He'd definitely get it done. Now, one thing that comes to mind to me is that no offense to Carlos Cookie Carrasco, but I believe he threw out one of the first pitches in one of the playoff games for Cleveland as like a veteran send off, one of their old greats coming out. But besides the point, Carlos has been looking pretty good this spring, and there's he has a deadline. I found out about today, listening to and reading, and especially listening on Joel Sherman's Pinstripe Post, his podcast. He was talking about um, how Carrasco has an opt out on March 22nd. So a few days from now, we're at March 18th now. So yeah, a couple more days he could opt out. And with the Yankees short on arms, I mean, you would think they're kind of looking for guys because you do have to fill out a roster even down on the farm. And they just need depth. It's just the way it's built right now. They're gonna have to bring a few guys into the organization from just for depth purposes. Whether you're not going to find not someone who's top of the rotation starter, but guys to fill out rosters and have depth on that 40 man. Like we always talk about, and they got to be the next man up. So where are these guys going to come from? You have to put them on the roster in order to call them up. So there is guys down there like we were saying, but they're gonna have to bring in something. There's gonna be guys, like we said, we're 9 days away. The Yankees have an exhibition on the 25th against Miami, right before the season. So you got to figure in about a week, they're going to have the roster pretty much all shaped out. And today there was reports that they had their one of their roster meetings, within the organization. So getting all that fizzled out. And who are we going to see on the bench? We've heard about Pablo Reyes, the Swiss Army knife, as he was coined on the New York Post. In the New York Post article I was reading about, I think believe it was the New York Post. I was reading about him. Might not have been the Post, but they dubbed him a Swiss Army knife, and he's a utility man, journeyman position player. He played with the Red Sox and the Mets for a little bit, but he does something with the Yankees need, and that's hit right-handed. Can't believe we even saying it. How not? It's not definitely not a complaint, but the Yankees are a little too left-handed heavy. I mean, from behind the dish, you have Austin Wells, the three, the three, the three catchers who are most likely, the three players who catch are eligible, who are probably going to make the team. Austin Wells, that's J.C. Escara, the 29-year-old, and Ben Rice looking like he's gonna have some definite DH at bats against right-handed hitting. You have Paul Goldschmidt, right-handed hitter at first, who's probably gonna bat, I would assume, fourth or fifth in this order, and he was dealing with a sore back yesterday, but he said if it was the regular season, he could have pushed through it. And Booney didn't want make anything out of it, and they don't want him to kind of push it to where to make something out of it. So, and he said that there's zero doubt that they'll be ready for opening day. But Jazz Chisholm, left-handed bat, going to be playing second. Anthony Volpe, right-handed bat at shortstop. Now projected at third base right now is Oswaldo Cabrera. He's a switch hitter, but he's not known for batting from the right-handed side. He hits much better from the left-handed side, and even some scenarios, he bats lefty against left-handers. Believe it or not, with his switch hitting. But they've been saying off season he's been working from the right side. We haven't really seen him that much from the right side this spring in the games he's been playing, just because the Yankees really haven't been playing much left-handed pitching. But the AL East in division, they don't play the same teams within the division the same amount of times as they used to, but they still play them a pretty good amount. And the lefties in the AL East, you got the Red Sox have Garrett Crochet, Shane McClanahan on the Tampa Bay Rays coming back. Then even you have guys around the American League, but in the AL East, you can probably have a guy like also Povich if he comes up from the Orioles, which is a good chance he could be with their injuries. A lot of teams, not just the Yankees. The Yankees are decimated with injuries, and a big one like Garrett Cole, which is the big loss. And so far in the season, that's the biggest loss of all the teams. But other teams are also dealing with injuries too. But not much, not to the extent of losing an ace like Garrett Cole, but still, like the Boston Red Sox have three pitches down: Lucas Giolito, Brian Bayo, and Cutter Crawford, just to name a few. You have on the Baltimore Orioles. They're having some injury woes of their own. Grayson Rodriguez and Kyle Bradish, who's recovering, Tommy John surgery. So there's, the Yankees aren't the only team, and that's just to name a few of our closest rivals, as I would say. And every team deals with injuries, but man, the Yankees have really been decimated here. But when you really look at it from a standpoint now, with us being 9 days away and all the articles and reports about Giancarlo Stanton saying best case scenario, he'll be back Memorial Day. So at that point, to me, and even guys like DJ LeMayu, who they said has been recently ramping up, a little bit of baseball activities, moving the needle, as Boone said. But these are two guys here, veterans on the team. They'll forget the names, because it's going to get into what I'm trying to say. So two right-handed bats the Yankees are down. So let's stop kind of dwelling on the fact of the names of Giancarlo being out for a long time, and you know Garrett Cole not being on. Garrett Cole is basically going to be a non-factor physically on the field. Off the field and behind the scenes, I'm sure he'll be very involved, but on the field, so there's a good chance. Well, we're definitely not going to see Garrett Cole this season recovering from the Tommy John surgery. There's a good chance we might not see Giancarlo Stanton for a while. No one really knows. I'm just, just assuming here. And so what I'm trying to say is we got to get to the point of trying to get our minds set to what is Ben Rice going to do as the DH. And, guys like JC Escara, who we're seeing, do damage at the plate. And what kind of production are we going to have from Paul Goldschmidt and from Cody Bellinger? It's got to kind of stop thinking about what we have lost. And the season didn't start yet. Other teams are dealing with injuries too, and the Yankees are, as opposing manager Alex Cora said today, they're a pretty good team, even without Garrett Cole, and they got a real good manager, doing the job also, in a nice way, basically how he said it, and kind of had me thinking a little bit when I read that this morning. I'm like, you know what? As much as we love guys, fan favorite like Anthony Rizzo, the first base production has pretty much been nothing the past few seasons with injuries. So yeah, Goldschmidt's having a little balking back here, but he's known throughout his career, he's known for being consistent, and he's a real true professional. And one of those guys where you look at him and you ask anyone around the game that he's just a real ball player, and everything that he brings to the team, is going to be positive. And you know what? I kind of agree with that. And you have Jazz Chisholm moving back to his more natural position, second base. Now, if you saw my story today, I did, put up with about his defense. Now, I've been, watching the spring games here and there, following them, and for the most part, and Jazz's defense at second has been kind of suspect. They had a double play that should have been made today. It's just here and there, little things that you're seeing, but I think we're just traumatized by the bad defense of what was from Gleyber Torres the past few seasons. But just hope that these are the type of things that need to be cleaned up. If you watched the game today, you heard about Willie Randolph, former Yankee captain, player, and coach with the Yankees, very involved with the Yankees. Willie Randolph, everyone knows Willie Randolph, and um, he was talking today just how the Yankees have to be better fundamentally, and how he likes how Volpe and Jazz are working up the middle and building the chemistry. I mean, who no one would know better than Willow at second, but you know it's I understand exactly what he's saying because we watched these games last year. We saw the terrible base running night in night out. Not the lack of fundamentals, the bonehead plays, and even some things you don't see on TV. When you go to the games, you see guys like, I don't say his name. He's not on the team anymore. Say his name again. Gleyber Torres not in the right spot. These are major leaguers. He's supposed to be in a certain spot for cutoffs and shifts and positioning, and just it was things you don't see on TV. Just things that need to get better. And some of the spring games here, you've seen the bonehead plays, but those are things that just need to be tightened up. And we have in left field Jason Dominguez, a youngster. You don't want to, lately the defense has been much better. The defense has definitely been much better, but I think a lot of people forget his age. Really young kid, 20, 22, 23 years old. And but he has to be able to make the plays in left field. Can't be worrying about the routine plays. And lately it seemed like he's getting better. But we're just gonna have to wait till the season gets here. I mean, 9 days away. If you're listening to this tomorrow, it'll be 8 days away. a- about a week or so, and you don't want to really worry about you know Dominguez making the not being able to make the routine plays. But from what we've been seeing lately, it seems like he can do that. Cody Bellinger has been tearing the cover off the ball. Definitely been tearing the cover off the ball. Um, Playing the outfield great. We've seen him in left. He can play some first, right field. He's going to be moving around the outfield, but it's Gold Glove ability in center field. And Aaron Judge back and right. Hopefully, and even with the way Grisham has been hitting, Grisham is another guy who's been tearing the cover off the ball. And seems like we're going to be seeing him a little bit more now that Giancarlo Stanton's out, which could get Judge, off his feet a little bit, move guys around. I mean, naturally, let's say if Stanton's out for a long period of time, and let's just say hypothetically, knock on wood, Jason Dominguez, it's now the end of April, early May. He's hitting, doing his thing, taking good at bats because it's not all about production. If you're following Ben Rice, and he's becoming a fan favorite, and a lot of the people in the Yankee social media world who create content definitely love Ben Rice a lot, and you can see the talent he has. But last year he got more, a little more unlucky, than what his numbers really showed, and the kid 26-year-old really works a great at bat. You can see it's a big league at bat, and that potential's there. And he bulked up a little bit. I think him being able to work more or behind the plate, which is definitely his more comfortable defensive position, in my opinion. Just from watching him, you can see that he has the mind of a catcher. He's a really smart kid. You can see his composure. You can tell that he has, what it takes to be a big league catcher. Same thing goes for JC Escara and definitely for Austin Wells, who we're all expecting to have a big, big breakout year. And now, especially as a leadoff hitter against righties. I mean, I still think, and there's there's a guy out there right now, on another team's roster that's a position player that's probably going to wind up or could wind up on the Yankees opening day roster. It's just almost driving myself crazy trying to think about it of who it could be. But you keep hearing them, names, looking for a right-handed bat, and none of these names really jump out at you. Trust me, none of them are really eye-popping names. But these are big league guys, and I could run through a few of the names. There's David VR, Luke Williams, Jonah Bride, and someone like Edmundo Sosa from and David VR, San Francisco Giants, um, Jonah Bride, Edmundo Sosa, Jonah Bride's the Marlins, Edmundo Sosa on the Phillies, and right hand Luke Williams. These are guys that I could even see like Sosa, not saying he's not going to make the Phillies, but there's a good chance he's going to be a bench guy on the Phillies. But someone like Jonah Bride, what are the Marlins going to be doing at first? Luke Williams is a bench, a bench piece, right-handed bat. He used to be on the Phillies. Now Luke Williams, the team he's with, I'll tell you right now, Luke Williams. But David VR is with the San Francisco Giants. He actually, a few years ago, he was up and coming, played a little bit of third base, and Luke Williams is with the Atlanta Braves. But David VR, these are all guys, not fringe roster guys, but bench pieces. Guys that have been coming up and down from the minors, and realistically, when you break it down, with the Yankees having Oswaldo Cabrera lined up to play third now, that's what they've been telling us, and he's another one who's been hitting really good. Oswaldo is going to do his thing with the glove. It's just realistically, if you give him a chance for everyday reps, not asking him to play a Gold Glove Cal third base, but a solid third base, professional level third base, and if you can hit, just from a numbers standpoint, if you want to get technical, but if he can hit 245, 250, somewhere around 260, the 260, 240 range, if he can hit maybe double digit homers, let's say 12, maybe 15 home runs, drive in 65, 70 plus RBIs from the bottom of the order, and making all the plays at third. That's, and everything else that he brings to the table besides the multiple position eligibility. Those are things that, you should have guys on the bench that you can plug in, and then you can even, utilize Oswaldo at those other positions if need be. But, he's going to play a nice third base. And, realistically, numbers like that, 12 to 15 home runs from Oswaldo Cabrera, 65 to 70 RBIs. And if you're telling me he's making, single digit amount of errors throughout the whole season and he's getting at bats, batting eighth or ninth in the order, I mean, what else are you asking for with with the lineup the Yankees have? And, Oswaldo, he's earned his shot now, all through the years. He's in the minors with Somerset. He won an MVP in the minor leagues, and we've seen his versatility of how he adapts, to different positions. He played a nice outfield when he first came up. He played a nice first base. Played, pretty decent shortstop when you see him fill in for Volpe the few times he's done that. And at third base, he's going to make the plays. He can't say he can't hit if we haven't seen him, get the chance to do it. So as of right now, that's what it's looking like. And the young kids like Ben Rice, I say young kids as we haven't seen him. JC Escara, who's going into his 30 season, and Trent Grisham, who we haven't seen much last year, but he's had his spells here and there. And what is Oswald Peraza? I mean, we saw him spell a few years back Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in the playoffs. Anthony Volpe came out in camp and beat him out at shortstop, and won the Gold Glove that year. But what is Oswald Peraza? What he meaning in the sense of what kind of prospect and what has he become? I mean, he was highly taught, highly touted prospect for the Yankees for many years. We saw him, come up, play, play shortstop in the playoffs, basically having no major league experience. And, he's been up and down and has been dealing with his injuries. And even today, they told us he left the game early. Um, he had an eye doctor appointment. So could that be something that's a result of all this not hitting the ball that hard and on the ground a lot? But I'm just speculating. But it doesn't seem to be hindering his ability in the field. I mean, the kid can really pick it, at any position we've seen him in the infield, but the kid can really, really pick it at third. Defense is definitely not an issue. It's just you've been seeing all these ground balls, and he's not really, hitting the ball as hard as he should be. Could that eye doctor appointment have anything to do with it? We'll find out, within the next few days. But like Yohendries Gomez, Oswald Peraza is one of those guys that have no options now. Just like I ran off I ran off those names, of guys who are out of options. Other teams are doing the same thing. Could be feasting, waiting for Oswald Peraza to be, not make the cut for the Yankees roster. Can plug in the middle infield for a team, like the Marlins, and to get him out of that spotlight. You never know what the kid can do when you give him a shot. All these kids, all these players, they got to this level somehow. The talent is there. It's just a matter of them unleashing at the highest level. And it's just a completely different animal. And you'll never know unless they get their shots or not. So we will see how it's going to pan out with this lineup. But I'm really interested for the roster, I should say. I'm really interested what the bench is going to look like. The Yankees pretty much have. Last year we've seen pretty much of a set lineup, and guys like Trent Grisham didn't play for a while, even though he was on the bench. But I think this year may be a little bit different, just because we don't have the same amount. There's not a guy like Juan Soto on the team who is going to post every day, but there's guys that were brought in that are gonna kind of fill in that void. Now it's going to be a little could be a little bit of different style of baseball. I mean, you saw the Yankees, they're definitely better defensively. But the way the runs are going to be generated, it's going to be a little different. There's about 3 4 guys on this team that have the ability to hit 20 homers and steal 15 to 20 bags, and at least about three 4 guys, Jazz Chisholm, Cody Bellinger, Jazz Chisholm, Cody Bellinger, Anthony Volpe could do it. He hit 20 home runs. It's definitely definitely a possibility his rookie year. And Jason Dominguez, a lot of people, he's really really fast, and the ability to run and hit for power like that, something really really special. So that makes you wonder. And one thing I heard, and like Joel Sherman pointed out, which was real eye opening. I don't want you to think that I'm pulling these numbers. I'm getting them from somewhere that they're not coming straight. Not sometimes they do, but not all of them. This one came from Joel, saying how from the leadoff spot last year, or whoever it was batting in front of Judge. Now it was Juan Soto was batting in front of Judge last year, but there was only 5 stolen bases between from the leadoff spot and the number 2 spot. So no one's really going to be running in front of Judge. Per se, not, that's why, like, you can have someone like Austin Wells who has the ability to get on base, but it's not like you're going to need him to steal, 25 to 30 bags from the leadoff spot. It's just, that's not his game. But the mindset is that you just have a guy get on, and then Aaron Judge will bring him in, rather than, having the possibility of running yourself, having the possibility of a runner on with Aaron Judge up at the dish. So real interesting. And now the Yankees don't steal as nearly as much as I think they should. Should definitely be more part of the game, the Yankees game. Whatever happened to the art of bunting, small ball, generating runs, moving the guy over. It's a different time. Um, but just looking forward to when baseball's starting. Really missing the most beautiful play of them all, the sac fly for an RBI. Really looking forward to those meaning something again. In 9 days they will. Just get back to baseball. Get back to the games counting. Let's stop talking about guys getting hurt. I mean, yeah, I know, that's the game. Guys getting injuries, but let's just get to the season here. We're almost there. Um, Really interested to see some of the names that we're going to be hearing floating around, becoming available within the next week or so. How this how the Yankee team's going to shape out. The pitching rotation, we pretty much have a good idea what it's going to be. What that who's the fifth starter going to be, is what's going on with Clark. We'll find out more on Thursday. It's just was really hoping for that real bounce, not a bounce back. Well, could call it a bounce back season for Clark. He was hurt most of the season last year. I really was hoping he was going to take that next step, that next leap into top echelon, pitches in the American League. It's just he couldn't shake that, getting the third time through the order, and really would like to see more length out of Clark. And a little setbacks like this just make you think. And just we're almost there. Baseball. Hopefully, Clark's all right. Um, Looking forward to seeing the young kids step up here. I want to see Will Warren. I want to see Ben Rice. I want to see what JC Escara can do. Can't wait to I've been saying give Oswaldo at bats. Now we're almost there. Could it come to fruition? Are they going to bring someone in? I would like to see them let Oswaldo get a shot. And just what I'm trying to get at, and we'll close it at this, is that the Yankees, will make moves throughout the season. They'll be looking to make moves throughout the season. The roster right now is kind of, you're looking at it for what it is, and this is what it is, what you get for right now. Now, with the injuries that they've sustained so far, with a week or so, to go for spring training. Your ace, Garrett Cole, your designated hitter and most prolific hitter, arguably the most prolific hitter from the postseason last season, Giancarlo Stanton, and still DJ LeMahieu, who they have plenty of money invested in. The plan was, as we were told, DJ was going to be at third. So you have your ace, your anchor in the lineup, and who we were told was going to be our third baseman. So those are three big pieces that are down, and not including Clark Schmidt and guys in the bullpen, like Jake Cousins, Ian Hamilton. These were all guys that were big pieces to the ball club last year, and you know these are guys that were big pieces to the ball club and key contributors to the run that they went on, which they did majority of the season without Garrett Cole last year too. But guys like Max Fried coming in, so the young kids are going to have to step up. The new acquisition is going to have to step up. Cody Bellinger and Goldie are going to have to show us, that they still have that, former NL MVP pedigree in them. And the way Belly's been playing, spring training, definitely showing it. But the Yankees they'll bring in talent. They're not going to make a trade now and deplete what what some would say is deplete a suspect farm system, even that some will say. um, there's no reason to deplete the good assets and the big assets you have now, like George Lombard Jr., Spencer Jones, just to name few of the big prospects that Will Warren, names that we've heard that teams are asking for. So I'm looking at it like this: that they're not jumping to make that trade. Well, one, on March 18th, that's not when you find number one or two frontline starting pitcher. You're not going to find that now. That'll be more of July 31st deadline acquisition. But rest assured, and this is my honest opinion, if the Yankees are in it in July, and they're definitely in it and in the thick of it. If it's they're able to trudge through these injuries, and I think they're still gonna have a very good team, an above average American League team, probably gonna win at least, I would say, at least 86 games, even now with the injuries. But definitely still, they might not be the best team in the American League now, but they're gonna be one of the top teams, and I think they'll be there. But if need be, when the time comes, they're gonna have to make a move, and if that move that they will be making at that time will give them a good chance to put them over the top and take that next step and finish the business that was unfinished last year in the World Series. They're going to do it. When haven't the Yankees done that? I mean, and sometimes they've been bad trades, but they've always made trades. So whether them working out or not, it's still gonna be the case of them trying to better the team. It's not, before the season starts, They're not over here waving the white flag that, Giancarlo Stanton and Garrett Cole got hurt. Booney's not out there. Oh, the season's over. The season didn't even start yet. When the time comes, when we get there, what needs to be done, what needs to be brought in to improve the team, make the team better, I can assure you that, actions and, will be made to help, solve those issues. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. We have a week or so to go. Just seeing what's going on here with the Yanks. Let's just try to change our mindsets as fans a little bit with the injuries, and let's get excited about baseball starting back up. And just from watching a little bit of that ball game this morning from the Tokyo Dome made me just realize a little bit. Dodgers have 11 pitches on the injured list, and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman were not in their opening day lineup. Think about that. So we're not the only team dealing with injuries. It's just, the champion will have to emerge from the ruins. I'll talk to you guys. Have a good one. God bless. And as always, go Yankees.